Hi guys, my name is Jonna and today I want to start another macrame project with you guys. And if you don't know how to set up your macrame, then I suggest you watch the other video. There is a link in the description area that will show you how to set up the way I set up my macrame before I get started. But right now I just want to do the pattern, because if I have to do the setup every time, that's going to take about half an hour. And I just want to explain this video with you guys. Okay, I have threads that are like a whole arm span wide, and after I span my arms wide, I take it in my hand again to where I left off, and then pull the thread to my armpit. So that's the length of the thread that I'm using, about an arm span and a half wide, a little less. These are two threads, and if you set up, you will notice how I set up. They come with, I fold them double and then I set them up. So you only need 4 red threads that are about an arm span and a half wide for the outsides, and you need 6 for the middle to get 12 threads in the middle and 4 threads on the side. So this is like a do-your-color bracelet that I'm going to be making. And we're going to start off. And if you're left-handed, you might want to start off with the other side. So you're going to pick up the first thread in your right hand, the second thread in your left hand, and you're going to go over the finger, you're going to go into the loop and pull it through. And then make sure that the loop that you made stays on top of the thread, because sometimes when you do the first ones, that loop will go in and then it will loop the other side around, other way around. And then you're just going to pull that, not too tight. Do it again, over the finger into the loop and pull that tight. And we're going to pull it in this direction to get like a V shape in there, because the other threads will come in from the other side. Pick up your second thread, over the finger into the loop, and just point that direction you want that thread to go in. It will be about here. Do it again, over the finger into the loop and pull that over here. Pick up the third thread, over the finger into the loop and pull that in the direction you want it. And again, over the finger into the loop and pull that in the direction where you want it. And I'm talking about this thread. You need to pull that in the direction. Now we're going to pick up 6 threads in the middle, and we're going to continue doing that same thing. So over the finger into the loop, pull, over the finger into the loop, pull. And this is easier because now you can see that the white stays on top of the red. So if that loop turns around, then you can see it better that you did something wrong. Next one, over your finger into the loop, give it that direction right there, over your finger into the loop, and I want it right there. Picking up the next thread, number 3, over the finger into the loop, right over there, over the finger into the loop, right over there. Next one, and you gotta make sure you get the right one. Number 4, over the finger into the loop, over the finger into the loop. Number 5, over the finger into the loop, over the finger into the loop. And number 6, and now I'm going to name it. Over the finger And number 6, over the finger into the loop. Pull that over the finger into the loop. And pull that. And I just saw they went on top of each other, so I'm going to take that down. I got like a needle for that. If it goes in a direction I don't want it. So it's not. It would be good to have one handy, just in case you need to pry out your threads. So those are 6. Put them all to the side, so they're not in your way anymore. Now we're going to pick up these. And this is where you're better off starting when you're left-handed. Because now we're going to work left-handed. And that's a good thing about macrame. It doesn't discriminate. Everything goes left-handed as well as right-handed. So we're going to pick up the last one. Hold it in our left hand. And now with the right hand we're going to go over the finger, into the loop, and we're going to make that loop, and careful, especially that first one is difficult, and point direction, into the, over the finger, into the loop. That's 1. Next one, over the finger, into the loop. And pull over the finger into the loop. And pull. Third red one. Over the finger into the loop. And pull. Over the finger into the loop. And pull. Now I got all the red ones done. Becomes easier when you got the red ones done. Pick up the first white one. Over the finger into the loop. And I still have no idea if they're forward knots or backward knots. Sometimes I get it, but only like for a second. So when I do my next macrame video, it's already gone again. It's just easier to say over the finger into the loop and tell you what hand you need to hold your thread in. And again. And pick the next one up. And again. Next one. And again. Gotta be careful they don't go over each other. Next one. And again. And the last white one. And again. Okay, and now it's important, of course, you went in both the same directions, which would be these directions. So now we need to take those middle ones, and it might be a good plan to get those threads a little closer to you. And we need to make a double knot. I'm holding it with my right hand, but if you're left-handed, then that would be good too. Over the finger into the loop, and pull it close. And try and keep that tension on there before that loop moves in a different direction. There. And now we have that part closed. And we're going to do the same thing again, starting with the first thread on the right side or left side if you're left-handed. But even if you're left-handed, you would need to do the right side now. Pick it up with the right hand, pick up your first thread, over the finger into the loop, and you're just basically going to do everything all over again until you get to the middle. And what is very important is that you keep the thread that you're holding with your right hand, that you keep it close to the top area so that both these parts get connected, so you don't see any space in between them, and that's pretty important. So we got 2 red now instead of 3, making life a little easier already. And I'm just going to just be careful that you don't pull this thread so it will go down. Just try and keep it up there as close as possible against the other knots. And again. Again. Again, until you get to the red. And the mistake that I made in the beginning a lot was by accident getting the wrong thread so that they would be crossed in the project. So it's something that you really need to be very careful about, and you will notice later on in the project that these threads are, these left threads are pointing in that direction and the right threads are pointing in that direction, and it's going to be a bit hard to find the right threads, but we'll get to that part. First we're going to finish this up. And try and stay as close as possible. Here's the last white one. Also make sure that the white thread goes underneath your red thread. The one that you hold in your hand might not be a red thread, but the one that goes in your hand, because if it goes on top, then something weird's going to happen too. It's going to be a whole different knot. Now we got one red that we just used to cross the other red with, so now we're going to also take that one and put that over our finger. Pull that, put that over our finger, and pull that. So now this is your middle thread. I suggest you kind of keep it in that direction and get rid of the other red thread that's here, so you don't later on mistakenly make a knot with the other thread. Another point of attention. I made the mistake, so it's very easy to tell them where you could go wrong. But first, I'm going to get the first 2 reds. The very first one goes in your left hand. This one goes underneath, over your finger, and into the loop. And that 2 needs to snuggle up real close to the first row. And just work your way down to the middle. Without trying to pull it too much, and very importantly, keep it close to the top row. So if you did some kumihimo, and you like kumihimo, then these are the kind of projects that you can't do with the kumihimo, or at least not that I know of. There's a lot that can be done with the kumihimo, but I don't think these can be done. And if they can, then I would love to see products of those. pictures. I mean, if there's anybody out there that can make these kind of macrame projects with a kumihimo board, would be fun to see. No doubt there's someone out there smart enough. But I don't know how to do it, so I just stick to the regular macrame. It's a little bit more challenging to me than the kumihimo, because it takes a lot more focus, and you gotta make sure that you put tension on the right parts. How do you know if you're not pulling too tight or too loose? It's difficult, especially with projects like this that take a couple of days to make. You know, my pull might not be as tight as it is today as it will be tomorrow, or my pull might not be as loose tomorrow as it is today. You know, you never know. But that's why it's a good thing that when you do macrame, you finish up, closing up with a pattern. So whether it be the first 4 of these, or if it will be adding the beads, just make sure that you don't stop somewhere in the middle like here, because then that's going to be a problem. You're going to get a noticeable difference. Okay, last one is the red one. One. Two. And now these 2 red ones need to cross again. So here we go. Oh, I want to do them all right-sided. So that's right. And that's left, goes underneath. And pull that tight. And if you need to pull that twice, pull it twice. There. All tight. And we're going to start with row 3, and we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to go pick up the red. First red, hold it in our right hand. Over the finger, into the loop again. So I would say if you get it by now, I would suggest you finish your rows until you did 4 of these on this side and 4 of these on that side. So that would be 2 more. And I suggest you pause me now. And the next part is the most fun. Getting to decide what bead you're going to put on there and what will fit and what will not fit. So I'm going to go with red in the middle. I already did that here, but I didn't like the way that was laying. It was kind of flapping around in here. That's much tighter. So, but I checked out with the blue. I didn't like that, so I'm going to keep the red in the middle. So, on these 2 threads, I'm putting a red 6mm bicone. And some white-eyed needles will come in handy here, but I don't know where it went. So I'm putting one on. This is only 1mm with my hands, and the other one gets a John James needle that is big enough to hold my thread, barely, but, and then I'm going to just pull that all the way up there, and then I'm going to let the threads decide where they want to go. Okay, so we got that over there. Then we're going to double knot it. I'm going to do that also with the right hand, because it doesn't matter, it's your middle thread. But you will notice that it kind of wants to turn around, so turn it around like that. So now we have the first thread here, and I'm not going to put beads on there. I just want that to go sort of under that bicone, pushing that bicone up a little bit, or just being tight enough around it by putting it underneath there. So I'm going to pick up the left thread with the left hand, and I'm going to go over the finger into the loop, And we're going to just do what we've been doing. 1 and 2. And we're going to pull that thread in the direction again that we did this one. So that would be downwards. Now the next thread, I want some silver seed beads on there. And what you basically do is you can see if those fit, if you go around like that. See if that's a good match. I think I got 7 here, but I think that will fit. So that's 7. Seed bead size 11/0, silver lined, in case you want to follow it. And I'm going to pick up this one. Goes underneath. Pick up the one with the left hand. Over the finger, into the loop. Pull that tight next to the other knots, over the finger into the loop, and pull that tight. There we go, 1/2 way around. And we're going to pick up the red now, and that red needs to go under the silver, so that will stay up. It will kind of balance it out. So go over your finger into the loop, and make sure that goes underneath. So you might have to help it a little bit. 1 and 2. Okay, and I want red seed beads, also size 11, on this thread. And for this one, I see I need 8 to go around and not crowd these silver seed beads. So that's 8 there. And you know, although you match going over the thread, make sure that you don't make the mistake of not going underneath it before you tie that up. 1 and 2. And now that lays perfectly next to each other. So the next one, right here, goes underneath the red beads to support holding that up. And again, you might have to kind of help that along, staying underneath there. 1 and 2. And also keep in mind, you still need a direction you need to go in. Now, because the next seed bead I'm going to put on there is going to be 8/0, I want a little bit of room for my 11/0s, so the 8/0s won't well, push into it, for lack of a better word. So I'm going to take one more thread, creating that room on the thread for the 8/0s, and that means the next thread is going to get some 8/0s. And the good thing about that is that my 8/0s don't need a needle, they just fit on there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's try 7. 7 seems to be okay, seems to be a little bit short. I think I'll go with 7. If it seems out to be too short, then I can always add one more. Let me lay that down. Oh, that looks good. Okay, now we get the next white one. And we're gonna put that underneath the purple one also. I just try to keep it there as much as possible. 1, 2. And when you put that all down, it looks good. I don't think there's any beads cramping any other beads. No, looks good. And the last row gets, let me move that over a little bit more, some 6/0 beads, some blue ones, seven, and let's see how 7 do, because they're a little bigger. And I think 7 will do fine, maybe 6. Let me see if 6 would be good. No, 6 wouldn't make it, too much room. 7 will be fine. Okay, 7 it is. And 1 and 2. And now you basically need to do what you did here on that other side. So I would say pause me now till you get there. I'm sorry, I had to bring in the artificial light. And as you can see, that's where it opens up. But you also need like 3 on the left and 3 on the right, and you need to find that opening right there. And then grab the first one. First one there. Get that out. Put the rest aside. And this first one, get that out. And double knot. And turn that around, because that feels like it wants to be turned around. Now this one is the one we're going to be working with. And we need 3 rows more. So let's go. If you want to do the right hand first, go do this side first. If you want to do the left hand first, you go do this side first. So now we worked our way in, and now we're going to work our way out. So the red threads need to go back to the outside. And again, it's very important you keep that close to the first row. And that you don't mix up your threads. Very important. And now you need to find the other one that you made the knot with, which would be this one, because it's a little higher than the rest of them. It's kind of more up. And you need to just go and take that and do the same on this side. up to the middle again, finding my next 2 red threads. That would be these 2 guys. One. Try and keep that in the middle as much as possible. 2. And then you're going to do another row. You're going to pick up the last 2 red ones after that, make the knot in the middle, and do the last 2 rows. So I would suggest you pause me now until you get all that done. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the 2 middle ones and we're going to double knot that of the white ones. I'm going to make sure that that's nice and tight and snug in there. Now for the next part of the video, we need the thread on the right side and the thread on the left side that are next to the middle threads. And you're probably gonna, and it's probably gonna be a little bit difficult to hear me or understand what I'm saying, but I need to put these 2 threads in the middle, in between my teeth. So watch my hands carefully. Picking up the left thread, going over, picking up the right thread, going over the left thread and into the loop and pull it through and tighten it. 1. Now do that again, only the other side. Right thread goes over the 2 threads, left thread goes over the right thread, underneath and into that loop, and then put it tight. There. That's all there is to it. And now we're going to add a 6mm bicone on the 2 middle threads. I got my blue bicone in the middle right now. And now these need to go around again. And we need to do 2 more of the things that we just did here. But I want some beads to go around that. So I'm thinking some red beads maybe, or some silver beads. And you just have to check what looks best. I'll go have a look. So I got 2 colors on there, and I think I'm gonna go with the silver ones. So this is like a trial and everything. You basically need to just see what looks best with your pattern, because I don't know, of course, which colors you are using. So I'm going to be using silver around the blue, adding those. So I got 5 seed beads on every side, and now we're going to do the thing that we did above here on below the bicone now. So put these between your teeth. Left side goes over, right side goes over and into the loop. You gotta be careful with the beads. Now the right side goes over, the left side goes over and into that loop. And pull everything tight. And now you got that settled. So you straighten that out. And now basically what you're gonna do is add a double knot right here in the middle. One, 2, so that this is exactly the same as that. And now we're going to start from on here again thread with the right hand, and now you just need to work towards this knot. That's how simple it is. So that was part 2, and now we're going to start with part 1 again. 1, 2, and when you got one side done correctly, then you need to do the other side. And you got to be really careful that there's no space in this area. Let me see if I can zoom that in a little bit without going blurry. So that there's no space in this area and everything is pretty much leveled out. And get your seed beads on top if they might have gone underneath. And then you're just going to pick it up with row 2 and row till row 4 and start adding beads again. So that's all there is to this. Okay, you can choose to do the 4 rows again and add one of these clasps there, of course a little bit wider, to end it up. Or, since I already did that several times, I braided the end. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows instead of 4 on both sides. I braided the ends after that, and I want to do readjustable clasp so that everybody will fit it. And for that, you need to put both braids on top of each other, like that. You'll need some pins. Might be better if I turn that in the other direction. sure you got them both. And I need a pin on the other side. And now we're going to use that middle part in between the pins. I have like a 3mm silk here, and we're going to put that underneath. And this is, well, this is very wide. It's about one arm from your hand till your armpit, and I'm going to have probably lots of leftover. But anyway, we're going to put that underneath, and we're going to start with the left thread over and the right thread over and under into the loop like that, and pull that, and try to keep your braids on top of each other. Make sure you fit that right. Okay, now we're going to take the right one over the middle. The left one goes underneath and through that loop. And we're just going to do that a couple of times. Close that up. Pull that tight. And another one. Doing the left one again. Right one goes over, in, pull that up, and again with the right first, left over, in, pull. Oh, the one where the bump is, that's the one that always goes over, just in case you make a mistake. Again. And again. And you can make this as big as you want. But I think this is about it for me. And now I'm going to try and pry that braid underneath. I've got to pry it open just a little bit. Those can come out now. Under the next one. next one. And all the way, basically, to the end. So this has got to go all the way to the end. Then you're going to turn that around, take the other one, and you're going to do the same thing on that side. So you're going to go under all these on that side. And then just cut that off. And that should stay in its place. And you got your adjustable band. And you can, of course, burn that down. Maybe cut it down a little bit more. You gotta be careful you don't torch the rest of your... Just a little bit. Don't do it so you'll have like the black ends, because that doesn't look good. Anyway, that's it. And now you have your adjustable band. And there you have it. Adjustable band. These are a little long for me, but you can of course make these shorter and put beads on the ends of the threads. So that's pretty cool. I like that. I think it's a smart plan. So that's all there is to this.